Hi there, Jesse here with eTrailer. Today we'll be taking a look at and I'll show you how to install the eTrailer Class 3 custom fit hitch on our 2024 Subaru Ascent. Adding a hitch to a vehicle like the Ascent makes a ton of sense. Even though it's a quite spacious car on the inside with a lot of storage space, it's always nice to be able to add some additional storage space on the back of the vehicle via a hitch like this one. It's going to open up the possibility of using something like a cargo carrier or a bike rack, and you can even do some light-duty towing with your Subaru. Here's a look at what our hitch looks like installed on our vehicle. One nice thing about this hitch and the Subarus is that when you're not planning on having an accessory or towing with your Subaru, you can install this knockout panel and it will bring you back to that factory look. So that's a really nice thing. So you're able to have the utility of having a hitch, but also be able to return to the factory look very easily. But here's a look at what it looks like when you are planning on having an accessory or towing. As you can see, you have a nice matte black paint finish with your standard 2" by 2" receiver opening. Behind that opening is a 5/8" pinhole. The pin and clip are not included with the hitch. However, we have many options available here at eTrailer. Also, any accessory that you add on will most likely come with one included. We also have some safety cable loops up here on the top. They're pretty easy to access, whatever style safety cable you have, whether it be an S or a large clevis like this. For some measurements, as far as ground clearance, from the ground to the top of the inside of the car, we have 22 3/4 inches. Then from the center of the pinhole to the edge of the bumper is about 2.5 inches. So keep that number in mind for any folding accessories that you might add on to ensure they don't make contact with the vehicle. As far as the weight capacities with this hitch, we have a gross trailer weight of 5,000 pounds. That's the amount of weight that you can pull behind the vehicle. And then a maximum tongue weight of 750 pounds. That's the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. You do have the option to use weight distribution with this hitch. However, those numbers will stay the same. Also, always be sure to double check your Subaru's owner's manual to ensure that your Ascent can handle that weight safely. All in all, if you're looking for a hitch for your Subaru and you like that added feature of being able to return to the factory look when you're not using it, you really can't go wrong with the eTrailer hitch. As for the installation, you do have to remove the fascia in order to get that hitch slid into place. So if it's not something you're looking to do yourself, maybe you don't have the time, the space, or the tools to do so, feel free to check out our dealer locator. If you are trying to get this hitch installed yourself, then follow along and I'll show you how we did ours. Also, if you are installing this yourself, maybe you just want to share some tips or tricks with us, or maybe you just want to share some photos of what you're using your hitch on your Subaru for, then feel free to leave a comment or a review. We'll begin our installation by removing these push pin fasteners on the bottom of the vehicle. Just pop out the center. You can use a push pin tool like this, or if you just have a flathead screwdriver, that'll work just fine. Pop the center out, then the entire thing should come out. So just work your way around. There should be 6 of these in total that we're removing. Now we need to remove our splash guards here. There's going to be 2 7mm bolts and another one of those push pins. So we'll just take those 2 bolts out. So we got those 2 bolts out. As I said, there is a push fastener. This one seems to be loose enough that I could just pull it out. It's just the Christmas tree style. So we'll get this taken off, set aside, and we'll do the other side. Now with that splash guard out of our way, we have one more push pin down here. And our last one will be a small one up here. Now we need to open our hatch up and come to our tail lights. we need to remove this plastic panel here. It should just pop out. You can usually slip your fingers back underneath it and then just kind of try to work that out and set that aside. Now we have that panel removed. That reveals a 10mm bolt. We'll take that out. Now you'll need an extra set of hands. I have my good pal Aiden here to help me out. We're just going to work from the outside in and just pull out on the fascia to release those clips. So once you get it all released, don't pull it out too far. There is a wiring harness that we'll need to unplug. It's going to be right here on top of your bumper beam. Just push in on that tab and that plug should release. Then we'll pull this off and set it aside. Now we have two wire harnesses that we need to get popped off. You can just use your trim tool, dig up under it and pry it off. There's one on the driver's side and then another one over here on the passenger side. With those out of the way, we can remove our bumper beam. There should be 4 17mm bolts holding this in. And before you remove the last one, just make sure you're kind of pushing against the bumper beam so that stud will hold it on. And then we can just pull that off and set it aside. Now we need to bend this piece inwards so that our hitch can sit flush. You can just take a hammer, and it doesn't take much. Just give it a couple taps and do it on the other side. Now we can take our hitch with these safety cable loops on the top, slide it over those studs, and then to hold it on, we'll reinstall the nut that we just took off on both sides. Once you get those on, we can take our new hardware. All this will be installed the same way. We'll take our conical tooth washer with the teeth facing the hitch, back that up with the bolts. We'll get all this threaded on and then we'll tighten them down. To tighten these down, we'll just need a 17mm socket, same size that we used to take our factory bolts off. Now we'll torque all of our hardware down to the specification listed in the instructions. If you don't have your own torque wrench, we do have some available here at eTrailer, or you could always rent one from your local auto parts store. Since we're not reinstalling our bumper beam, they put little slots in here for our wiring harness. So just pop that down. They also supplied zip ties, so to make it more secure, I'm just going to slip a zip tie through this hole and around that sensor. And we'll do that with both the wire harnesses that we popped off. All that's left is to reinstall your fascia, and one thing I did is I left these two bottom push pins in the center off because that's your knockout panel that you will remove in order to access your hitch. Otherwise, that's going to do it for our look at and installation of the eTrailer Class 3 custom fit hitch on our 2024 Subaru Ascent.